Hello, my name is Diego Gómez and this is the listening section. Well, the listening section has 4 parts, with 10 questions each part. Of course, the questions are in the same order as in the recording, so it's very difficult to get lost. The first 2 parts deal with everyday situations. In part 1 there is a conversation between 2 persons, for example talking about arranging a party. And in part 2 there is only 1 person speaking. Part 3 and 4 deal with educational and training situations. Part 3 is a conversation between 2 main speakers, like 2 teachers talking about some subject. And in part 4 there is only one person talking about some academic subjects. Oh, and you can only hear the recording once, and it has different accents like British, Australian, New Zealand and North American. Another thing you will need to do is to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. You have 10 minutes at the end of the test to do this. But wait, you should be careful when writing your answers on the answer sheet, because you will lose marks for bad spelling and grammar. So there are 6 types of questions, and we are going to see each one of them, saying what's involved and what skills are tested. The first type is multiple choice. So what's involved? Well, in this type of questions, maybe a questions with 3 possible answers, or the first half of a sentence with 3 possible sentence endings. You have to choose one correct answer, A, B or C, and then write the letter on the answer sheet. The second type is matching. In this type of questions you have to match a list of items from the recording to a list of options on the question paper, and then write the correct answer on the answer sheet. The third question type is blank, map, diagram, labeling. So in this type of questions you have to complete labels on a visual, which may be a diagram, a set of pictures, a plan of a building, or a map. This type of question tests your ability to understand explanations of where things are and follow directions. In the third and the fourth part, you may have to select your answers from a list on the question paper and then write the correct letter on the answer sheet. Or select words from the recording which fit into gaps on the question paper, so you will need to keep to the word limit given in the instructions. These type of questions you have to fill in gaps in an outline part or all the recording. The outline will focus on the main ideas or facts in the recording, and maybe a form, a set of notes, a table, or a flowchart. Question type 5. Sentence completion. In this type of questions you have to read sentences that summarize important information from either all of the listening text or from one part of it, and you have to fill in a gap in each sentence using information from the recording. Question type 6. Short answer questions. This type of question you have to read a question and write a short answer using information from the recording. And that is all from the listening section. Thank you.
First of all, a person is going to talk to you about your personal issues. When he or she talks to you, you don't have to get nervous. That will make you to not speak clearly. If you do that, you will have points taken out of your exam. Some of the questions he or she may ask you are how is your house? Or how many sisters or brothers do you have? Also, what's your morning routine? Or perhaps, what do you eat on a normal day? Then, this person is going to ask you general questions. You will have 2 minutes to respond, and then you will have to respond some of more short questions. Something that is essential in this exam for you to do is to speak with slang. This will help you to connect better with the person asking you the questions. You should not repeat the same words many times. This is all the important information you need to know before taking the IELTS speaking exam. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk to you about some of the best tips to be prepared to make the reading part of the IELTS. So first of all, you always need to be relaxed. Since the beginning of the exam, you need to stay calm and remember that this is not the end of the world. The reading section consists on 3 or sometimes 4 reading passages of increasing difficulty, and there is a total of 40 questions to answer. Though you can mark and write on question paper, You must enter your answers on the reading answer sheet and be aware that not extra time is given for transferring your answers from the test booklet to reading answer sheet. When the exam begins, the first thing that you need to do in order to save time and effort is to check the questions from the reading. This is extremely useful so that you can go back to the reading to just analyze it and find the right answers for the questions. Also, a good advice is to respond all the questions even if you are not sure about your answers. In the IELTS exam, there are several passages which may consume your precious time. This is why you need to be smart and establish a limit of time between each reading so that you can finish all those readings on time. In the remote case that you don't finish the reading section, you can always fill in the missing gaps even without knowledge whether you can answer right or wrong. Remember, it is always to not leave any questions unanswered. If you follow all these tips accordingly, you will be successful at the reading section of the IELTS. Thank you so much for your attention.
For the writing part, you must know some tips and strategies that will make this part way easier. For example, this test only takes 60 minutes, so you have to take in mind that part 2, task 2, takes twice as much effort as task 1, so you must manage your time where you use less time on task 1 than in 2. For writing task 1, you have to use at least 150 words, and for task 2, you have to use 250 words. So manage your time appropriately so you don't spend more time on writing task 1 than in 2. You also, instead of having to count each word, you can just count the lines and see and do like approximately how many words you have. Always write clearly so that the examiner knows what you're saying. If you write messy, they won't understand anything that you wrote down. Also, take in mind that you have time. So if you have 3 minutes left, start your conclusion and forget about everything else.